Hello guys, welcome back. Spoiler ahead. Volchek is the mysterious villain in Countdown, and audiences learn some critical details about him in the opening 3 episodes. Countdown's cast is led by Jensen Ackles, Supernatural, Jessica Camacho, The Flash, and Eric Dane, Grey's Anatomy, with Ukrainian-American actor Bogdan Yasinski, Bosch, Legacy, contributing his talents as the overarching antagonist, Borys Volchek. Audiences first catch a glimpse of Volchek at the end of Episode 1. But it isn't until Episode 2 that we're offered exposition on his past and some pieces of his motivations. Countdown's inciting incident is the murder of Homeland Security Agent Robert Darden, who we see in Episode 1's opening sequence surveying cargo at the Los Angeles port. After he's killed by the cartel, a task force is formed with the show's main protagonists to investigate the murder. The task force follows a trail of conspiracy in the Department of Homeland Security, with the ending of Episode 1 bringing them back to the port, where they discover that the suspicious cargo involved missing nuclear materials, enough to trigger a Chernobyl-level event in Los Angeles. Volchek is a combat veteran from Belarus with deadly plans in Los Angeles. Volchek is planning a deadly strike on the United States. Volchek in Countdown. In Episode 2, we learn a little bit more about Borys Volchek, including that he worked in the Defense Ministry for Public Estate in Belarus and was previously a soldier in the Transportation Corps with combat experience. The episode also demonstrates that he has a knack for engineering, fixing a toaster for his brother, of course, setting up his eventual plans for Los Angeles, as well as the explosions at the end of Episode 2. These 3 elements are all essential, as now we know he's knowledgeable about state affairs, allowing him to manipulate the National Guard to transport the necessary materials into the United States. He's got individual combat experience, making him a threat to our protagonists in a shootout. Of course, the engineering is the most terrifying aspect, with Countdown Episode 3 offering a glimpse at his blueprints, which seem to indicate his plans to develop a nuclear weapon. While we're far from knowing the full extent of Volchek's scheme, his intention seems to be a terrorist attack, detonating a massive nuclear blast in Los Angeles. Episode 2 essentially covered his villain origin story, but there's likely going to be more to it. Destruction of this magnitude requires an incredibly deranged person, and Countdown Season 1 will likely continue to explore his life leading up to the present day. Countdown Episode 2's 2008 flashbacks explained. Volchek's villain origin came after his brother's death. Jensen Ackles and Eric Dane in Countdown. Countdown Episode 2 shows flashbacks to Volchek's life in Belarus back in 2008. He had a brother named Anton, who was approached by a character named the American, who bribed him for agricultural information. Trying to avoid giving away genuine information that could harm his country, Anton printed out the 2005 tables and messed with the data, hoping to pull one over on the buyer. Of course, the American realized what Anton had done and pursued him to settle his debt. Owing the American 80,000 rubles, Anton was forced to involve his brother. With no money or resources, Anton roped Volchek into the situation, arriving at his house bruised and asking him for help. The American demanded that Volchek provide him with privileged emails between Volchek's boss, Mr. Kostenko, and the Kremlin, where he would kill Anton by pushing him down a flight of stairs. Volchek snuck into Kostenko's office and retrieved the data, as requested, but things took a turn for the worse regardless. Volchek returned home to find Anton wasted, and they briefly discussed their family history. Anton, feeling like he was a failure to his family, went into the bathroom and took his own life. With a desire for vengeance, Volchek returned to the American and handed off the data. However, the hard drive was rigged to explode, mirroring the explosion from Countdown Episode 2's ending that claimed Javi's life. Thanks for watching.